And welcome to Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacy, aka Beat Unstoppable Prayer. And today I got another great show lined up for you. I am in the studio along with my guest, Miss Roberta Catron, in the house. How you doing, love?
I'm good. How are you?
Great, great, great.
I
Hey,
call you
glad
Mr.
that
Muscle Man, Mr. Muscle Man himself.
right. Hey, before I kick this show off, let me hit this intro.
Attention. Spit to the beat. Podcast. It's all about inside the music industry. Nobody do it better.
And welcome back. We're back in the studio. I'm your host, Stacey, aka Be Unstoppable Prayer, and I'm joined with my special guest. She's live in the house with me for the first time, and we finally got that schedule right. So now we're fixing to do this thing and talk about this music industry. Miss Roberta Catron, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you? Happy
Great.
Friday.
Yes. Thank God it's Friday. Hey, let's jump right on into it. Tell my
All right.
audience a little bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Roberta Catron, and I'm from Memphis. However, currently I live in Chicago, so I transitioned to Chicago about a little bit over a year and a half, but was born and raised Memphis, Tennessee. Memphis gonna always be in the blood, so you ain't gonna get rid of me that quick. I've been in music for over 30 years and various facets of the music side. So, hey, I appreciate you for having me on here.
Thank you for joining. Look, you just talked about 30 plus years in the music industry. Where do we start as far as your background is so wide and extensive as far as music. As far as I know, I seen that you from being a bass guitar, but from reading your bio and everything, you more than just that. So tell me about your journey.
Yeah, so I always tell people, I said, depending on who you ask and when they knew me would determine what they say I did in music. So if you ask someone that came to know me around the 80s, 90s, they would tell you I was a choir director. But then
Okay.
if you ask someone around the 2000s, they may say I was a vocal teacher or either a piano player. Can you believe that?
Right.
Um, but you come on up towards, 2005, all of that, then you'll see where they may see me as a bass player. And then up here more recently, I've gone more exercise a little bit more in the sound engineering side of everything. So it depends on. So my music years started with vocal teaching. I had my own choir. Me and my husband, we had our own choir in high school and then in college. So it just kind of depend on that decade that you knew Roberta or you became aware known of Roberta.
Wow. I mean, you have touched the whole circle to me as far as the music industry. You work in engineering, you vocal teaching, instructor, all the mechanics of the ins and out of music. So how has that really been? Your forte as far as you moving personally in your own music industry journey.
hmm So for me, I am just, if I had to describe me, I am a lover of music in all aspects of that. I think, I would say my passion is music, but really at the core of my passion, really honestly, is music ministry in the church. So with that being said, I don't believe my God is that small to just to limit the abilities that He give you to just be in one space and because you can reach people all over. So yeah.
And you talk about in your bio, you talk about the music, your structure, organizing your music and stuff like, being in the secular as well as the religion. So how has that example helped you balance both sides?
Um I think because of the fact that I do and I have operated in all the different various areas, it gives me a different perspective on how things come together. Like for instance, so a lot of times, so I'll speak in the secular sense, and then I'll speak in the religious sense. So for the secular sense, bringing that structure and everything is, for I have two bands. I have a regular intermix band, and then I have an all female band. So being able, like when we have rehearsals, we have very structured rehearsals.
Mhm.
An hour and a half, no more than 2 hours. I think you can get everything that you need done. But in order to do that, you got to be disciplined. And then those people that you're working with, they have to buy into what you're selling. We have agendas, and in addition to that, what I also bring to on the secular side is I also kind of act as a mentor to a lot of musicians and singers as far as doing the business side of it, because I've had studies in the business side, writing contracts and copyrights, being able, showing them how to do a copyright, not me doing them. I do it for a fee, but this is something that you can do, and educating them, because if you're going to go out in the industry, you need to know how to do these. That way you won't be on unsung. That's what I always.
Right, right. Yeah,
And yep, and then on the religious side, it's a different beast, because church has moved from, you go to church, you have that one piano player, you have a drummer. That's it. And churches have moved to having real full bands and orchestra and various music ministries. So being able to provide structure and clarity to that, because I've kind of operated it up. So there's a certain type of thinking that a musician has. There's a certain type of thinking that a singer has. And because I've operated in all those spaces, I try to bring all of those things to the table whenever things are done. So yeah.
great. Look, I have seen. I was talking to someone earlier this week about that, the church structure, as far as the music part. You see now more churches are got praise team versus just full choirs, unless they're doing a recording or something like this. So, with that
Hmm.
change going on, how do you see that part of music with you doing what you're doing, like engineering or anything for churches such as that move to from basically choirs to praise teams?
Yeah. So basically what I feel like I bring to the table is because of the fact that I have the musicianship, the vocal piece, the sound engineering. So I mean, I think the best way for me to explain, let's do a, I can give you a scenario. So
Okay,
let's just say the choir or the praise team say they can't hear themselves in the monitor, right?
right,
So
right,
for me, the way I think, and I'm giving you a little bit of insight of how my brain turns. So the first
okay,
thing I say is, okay, they say they can't hear themselves. The first, because naturally when people, if you say that, most of the time people just turn them up in the monitors. That sounds good. But that may not necessarily always be the answer, because what you have to take
right.
into consideration is, as a musician or MD side, how loud is the musicians playing? And well, and then can the musicians hear themselves? Is that why they're playing loud? But let's say
Exactly.
if they got in ears, then yeah, you can hear yourself. I know that because I've had in ears in. Then you go for the vocals. Okay, I'm listening to them. It do sound like they're straining. They're not singing naturally and letting it flow. It seems like they're pushing really, really hard. Okay, so I need to bring them down. And then as a sound engineer, if I'm listening to the room and like, yeah, that music is loud, and so taking into consideration what the audience hears, there's only certain dBs that the room should have. So
Right.
my answer to the question is, no, I'm not going to bring the vocals up in the monitor. What I'm going to ask for the musicians to bring it down some, to level it out, so that because your vocals only go so loud. Human, that because that's a human element, versus instruments have a knob, and most of them have two or three knobs between the keyboard, the mixer that the keyboard is connected to, and then the avion that the keyboard may be hooked to. So you got three ways that the volume can continue to go up. So I bring all of that stuff together when I'm assessing what needs to be done overall. And I even a streaming engineer, if I'm back in the back and I hear the music bleeding through the vocal mics, then the
Right.
music may be too loud.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
all of those things
You-
are taken into
You're
consideration.
always searching for that sweet spot to make
There you
sure
go.
everything balance. Yeah.
Yes, there you
Yeah.
go.
Cool. Cool. Hey, hold time. Take a PA break. We'll be right back. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, this is Stacy, aka Beat Unstoppable Per You with Spit to the Beat podcast. Would you like to be my guest if you're a singer, songwriter, musician, producer, or promoter? Give me a call at 901-341-6777 or email me at myguest@spittothebeat.com. And we're back to Spit to the Beat podcast. I'm your host, Stacy, aka Beat Unstoppable Per You. Look, we already dived into all this wealth of information. Musician, band, instructor, my guest, Roberta Catron. She just sharing everything, and I can't wait to we just get this information to you all. But look, we talked about one other thing that I know you from is bass guitar. Your style and your approach. What would you say to that?
Um, I would definitely consider myself to be a pocket player. However, the musician wrote it or the artist wrote it, that's pretty much what I'm gonna do. Very rare do I, and sometimes I do if I get a little funk in my fingers. Um, I always, and a rule of thumb, even when you talk about on a professional level, is you play what the record intend, not more, nothing less. And then
Right.
if the artist wants you to add more, they'll let you know. I kind of style my play off of there's a female bass player named Michelle Indejocello. She's out of the UK area, but she's in the
Mm,
States now. So if you kind of want to, if I had to describe my style, I
mm.
think it would be kind of a cross between her and a little bit of James Jamerson, who is Motown. We know him from what's going on, and so and I would kind of put myself around there, as far as style wise or whatever. So yeah,
You definitely have a love for music because you, from just us just talking, you and worked in so much different aspects of the music,
yeah.
from the front room to the back to the stage. You just know it all. I mean, that is awesome. So, do you go out or do you teach anybody that would want to learn whatever you offer?
Mhm. I have taught. I did teach in Memphis. I still do a couple of virtuals here and there. Since my move here into Chicago, I'm gonna tell you, I'm just gonna be honest with you because I've
Yeah.
been here about a year and a half, and honestly, in that year and a half, it has afforded me the opportunity to be able and go out and actually witness and listen to a totally different culture of music than what's in Memphis, Tennessee. So I have just really been embracing that and just enjoying it and seeing what I can learn. What I can learn in there. But right now, my plan is to open the doors back up in 2024 because I've
Hmm.
moved. I had to move. I was in school, so I had a whole lot of things going on. But that is my goal. That is my goal.
It's ironic that you touch on the music here in Memphis. How does the music in Memphis play in your life as far as you say you're from Chicago
I'm
and
from Memphis, but I live in Chicago
live
now.
from okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So with that being said, so what was your experience in Chicago compared to the Memphis sound?
So this is the thing, and this is what I share with a lot of, because of course that's the question that I get asked a lot.
Do you?
Memphis is so loaded. I mean, musically just loaded. Whether you play instruments or whether you sing, Memphis is just a blessed city. I think the thing that I've been able to experience here is that level of jazz that I desire. There's not a very, very big presence in Memphis for jazz, but up here, like I shared with someone, I said I got to step my game up because everybody that play bass up here, they play
Mhm.
electric bass, but they also play upright. So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
see a lot of upright bass players. So that is encouraging and exciting at the same time. So that's what I would say on that. Yeah.
Oh wow, wow, wow. Yeah, you definitely. Let's talk about your group. How long have y'all been together, and what shows have y'all done? Anything new projects coming up. What's going on with that? And what's the name of it? Your
All right,
band?
so I have two standing groups. I have Vibrant Soul, which basically is men and women, just
Mhm.
musicians and singers, okay? And so I have them, but I also have Ladies Edition band, which, probably in the past couple of years they really have just kind of just been blazing and and doing things everywhere. And so what it is with the Ladies Edition band, it goes a little bit beyond the music because the ultimate vision of that band is to provide a safe space for women musicians to develop, to grow. If you just need to get together, if you just need to bounce ideas, if you need to, so that safe spacing for female musicians. There's not an age range. I've taken them as early being in elementary school to 50, 60 years old, and it's just a great fellowship amongst women musicians.
That's amazing. That's amazing. So you still teaching, you still got that grinding with all that knowledge that you have. I mean, why not share it, but
Right,
also get
absolutely.
paid?
There you go.
Hey,
And
nice.
and honestly, sometimes they may not necessarily equate to pay.
Mm,
Yeah, we definitely talk pay, but in ministry, I allow God to lead us in how we handle that thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's amazing. So, do you got any gigs coming up in the near future before 2023 is out?
I actually, and the thing about it, we have gotten a couple of invites, and at one where I was coming home almost every weekend gigging, and man, that just took a toll on my body. So I
Mm,
said, I was just like, let me, like, I didn't even come home for Labor Day this year because I was like, my body has to rest.
right.
My body has to rest. But one of the things that I am doing actually is establishing a ladies edition Chicago. That's actually what I'm working on now. So I have a few of the pieces together. So the ultimate goal is, if I can get it established in Chicago, I have it established in Memphis. I actually have it established in Huntsville, Alabama, also Arkansas. So the ultimate thing is that, if we can be in multiple cities and hey,
That's
hey,
great.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Hey, hold tight one more time. I'm gonna take another break and be right
Okay,
back.
okay.
Hey, this is Stacy, aka Be Unstoppable Per You. Thank you for listening to our show, Spit to the Beat podcast. If you would like to be a sponsor, visit our website at www.spittothebeat.com and click the support tab and leave a donation. We really will appreciate it. Thank you again for listening. Also, catch every episode Thursday morning at 8 a.m. And we're back to Spit to the Beat podcast. In the building with me is Roberta Catron talking about her style of music, her structure, and everything. We just talked about your band, and you have two forms of band, male and female, and just females. That's great. How do you balance all that?
Well, people ask me that I am a product of corporate America.
Okay.
And if you are
Oh, is that
so,
what
and
you
listen,
saying? You
corporate America pay the
multitask?
bills. Corporate America pay the bills, but corporate
Yeah.
America teach you how to be structured and everything as well.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, so I, as but I am lucky to have great people working with me as far as the band members and other. They take the load. If I say, hey, we're gonna rehearse this day from this time to this time, they be there. It's not like if we got 6 o'clock rehearsal, they come walking in the door at 7:50. That doesn't happen. So I'm grateful for them, and my head's off is to them because they make it able for me to be able to toggle. To be able to toggle, even if it's a gig where I can't play, I have other musicians that I say, "Hey, I need you to fill in for me," or whatever, and it all works. Memphis has some great musicians. I'm blessed to be connected to some amazing people, on the music scene.
Speaking on that, Memphis musicians, what are some of the musicians that you would like to work not only here in Memphis but nationwide? Have you had a chance to work with some renowned artists?
Yeah, I have. So I have been fortunate enough to, so you talk local. I mean, you keep in mind we have one of the greatest musicians in the city in our church, and Jimmy Kennard.
Yeah, yeah, that man got a wealth of history.
Yes, and he has taken me under his wing and basically guided me a whole lot. Other locals, I've played for several people, but other locals that are kind of out on that professional scene that I have been fortunate enough to work with or play with, Marcus Malone, with the Marcus Malone band.
Mhm.
I've been able to work with Barbara Jackson. I've been able to work you when you talk about just kind of on a national level, Sharice Scott. So I have really been blessed to be in very good places, and I feel just as God intend for me to be. I think in the future, I think I do know one person that I would love,
Who
that
was
I would
that?
love, I would love, just love the opportunity to work with on the music scene.
Speak it
Who-
into existence.
Huh?
Speak it into
Speaking,
existence.
look, because she is from Chicago. It's Layla Hathaway.
Woo!
That's a
Yeah.
big, that's a big baller.
Yes, yes. That would
Yes.
be
Hey,
dope.
but like I said, I speak it. I speak it out there, and you
Yeah.
you, you,
And she
you
was
just
just here
never.
recently. Did you get a
Yeah,
chance to go
yeah.
check it out?
She was just there, but the thing about it, she sings in Chicago at least almost every other month somewhere. But
Really?
and the thing, it may just be at a restaurant. That's the beauty of Chicago is you get a lot of national artists in these very small, intimate venues. I mean,
Mhm.
yeah, it's like I've been music wise. I've been like just like in heaven because I've been fortunate to see artists that necessarily wouldn't come through Memphis, basically. So yeah, yes,
So what music have you have noticed music have gone in this generation a different way
mhm.
compared to our time coming up in music? What would you say about this music? And what would you say for new artists, male or female, that's coming up in the business trying to learn or get a foothold and to avoid the pitfalls that they may? You talked about a little bit about it earlier about learning contracts and stuff like that. So what
Mhm.
would you say a little more about that?
I would say that you talk about music 30 years ago, you had a lot of acoustic instrumentation, meaning that
Yes.
you had drums with no drum machines, you had pianos and not keyboards to do this. Even on the sound engineering side, um you had um you had mixers that were analog. So it didn't do anything for you. You just had to know what you were doing. And that was how I came up.
And
That was
people
how I
will be able to tell if you're a
yeah,
good
right.
singer or not.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I tell people all the time, I can get the exact same mix on an analog board that I can get on a digital board. But
Wow.
now,
Okay.
yeah, digital boards have all these presettings and all of that stuff,
Yes.
you
Yeah.
know, like that. So I think the thing that I would say is, for musicians and singers is to know your craft, continue to grow your craft, whatever that may be, and also look at things that impact your craft. Um, and I think I would say that I challenge musicians and singers to basically learn the best of both worlds so that if for whatever reason if the digital side fall on you, you still got something to fall back on. If the drum machine break, you still can keep tempo. Little
Yeah.
simple things like
Because we
that.
have learned. Yeah.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely,
And
absolutely.
not just supporting off a computer.
Yeah, yep, yep, yeah. Because
Yeah.
I've had situations like that happen. I've had it happen at Christ Baptist in the middle of service.
Oh
So
wow. Yeah. You don't panic, you just make smooth it
just
out.
just make the adjustments. And I always lay my hands on the mixer and say a prayer. God, please let my fingers do the right move.
Right. You
I
got to lay
Yes, yes, yes.
you have to lay your hand on this technology. I'm telling you,
Yeah,
just like you was trying to get on today and it been on the camera all day long. Same here. I be afraid I'm gonna go out while I'm interviewing somebody.
I've been on video since 8 o'clock this morning, then come to you, and then all of a sudden,
It happens. I have had some crash right in the middle of an interview with some of my guests,
yeah,
but I'm glad we have made it through this one.
yeah.
Hey, one last thing. Where can people catch you? You got anything that's coming up recently around the city of
I
Memphis?
don't, I don't have anything coming up around Memphis. Like I said, I basically went on a sabbatical. Honestly, I went
Okay.
on a sabbatical
We ain't
until
gonna
I
get
got my
enough for
foot in.
Christmas for the holidays.
I put it this way, I actually do have one piece. So me and the ladies, we actually recorded a Christmas song last year.
Okay.
Last year. So I may repost that back out, but we actually did another one that I just haven't finished. I just hadn't mixed yet. So I might
Okay.
I might
Okay.
go and finish mixing that. But you can catch me Instagram, Roberta dot Granderson Catron. Simple as that.
Yeah.
Ladies Edition has an Instagram, and Ladies Edition also have a Facebook page where you can see videos from my performances. And Vibrant Soul actually has a Facebook page as well. Just VIBRANTSOUL. Nothing special about it. And then Ladies Edition.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, there you have it, Miss Roberta Catron in the Spit to the Beat podcast studio joining me. And we're talking about the music industry. Again, thank you for coming on to
Man,
my
I
podcast.
appreciate you. And man, you are doing the thing.
Thank you so much. Thank you
You
so
are
much.
doing the thing, and many blessings. And I am looking forward and excited to what God continues to have in store for you. I mean, I'm telling you. As
Thank you.
I say, I'm taking note all the way up in here in Chicago. So before you
So
know look, before you know it, I have you up here at one of
yeah,
the events.
there you go. Speak it into existence.
That's right. Going live. There's enough festivals going on up here where you can go
Yeah.
live at one of them.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Hey, hold tight as I wrap the show up.
Okay.